Hello, this is the Tradesight U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview for Tuesday, the 22nd of November, 2016, and also likely the last preview. I may do one tomorrow night. We'll see what happens. But this could be it for the week. If tomorrow is boring, Wednesday is certainly going to be boring. Thursday and Friday. Thursday we're closed. Friday's a half day. We don't do anything anyways. So if Tuesday's interesting, we will do a preview Tuesday night for Wednesday as well. Otherwise, this is it for the week. Here's the ES front month futures contract. This is the daily chart of the S&P 500 in futures form, which is the proper technical way to look at the markets. And that is a new closing high on the ES, all-time high. So now they can say that they've got the Dow at highs and the ES at highs. We'll go through the major indices here, and then we'll talk about what's to come. So oil popped up $1.92 on the session to 48.27. Gold bounced back a little bit, up $4.70 after being down obviously recently. S&P cash index up 16.28, and that's also obviously a closing high there by about 3 points. The NDX was up 50, still hasn't made a new high there. 4,900 plus would be the new high. You need another 55 points or so to get there. SOX up 6. 9-bar startup phase there completed, and nothing new from that perspective. Biotechs were up 20, which is a blip on the biotech index. You got the VIX down 43 cents. This is disturbing. The VIX is already back to $12.42. That is a super low volatility reading, not a positive for the market. Trend closed at 0.82, but we had a lower number drop off the 10-day moving average, so the 10-day moving average is now back up to 0.94. NASDAQ volume was horrible at 1.5 billion shares. It's the worst since the election, obviously. And like I said, this feels like, this was the first day of a new option cycle, and they didn't really trade it. We'll look at the intraday action here in a minute, but this does not look positive in terms of the week's volume. And so a lot of times when the big traders are gone and it appears they might be, the market's just retire. As they say, the professionals are sellers. They're not around, the market pops. But here's a look at NASDAQ advanced decline ratio plus 561. That means there were 561 more stocks up than down for the session, which is okay. The same on the New York was plus 1478. Google gained almost 9 points, but that's still a blip. Still down since the election. Apple gained $1.67, barely up since the election now. Amazon back up $19.84. Keep in mind, usually this is the type of year where we would talk about the fact that all the stocks that are up for the year, like Amazon, which is up so much for the year, nobody wants to sell these stocks, right? Nobody wants to sell these stocks for the next month because you don't want to lock in the tax gain, which was what was so interesting about the fact that they did sell them so sharply for a week there. So, are we going to get into that mode with the year-end bubble and then everybody's going to stop selling these stocks that are up and they're just going to drift higher like we normally do? Or is this just a reaction bounce after being sold so heavily that first couple of days? I don't know. It's hard to say. We'll just have to keep trading. Netflix up $2.75. Tesla lost 50 cents. The Solar City deal is now done. TLT was up 30 cents. I'm making a separate video about this one because look at the 13 buy signal on Friday. Now, we haven't really gone anywhere yet, but we've certainly finally seen the bonds seem to stall out after selling off so sharply. And you can't help but notice that we had the 13 sell signal in August, started heading down, tanked after the election. Now we've got a 13 buy signal on bonds, so maybe the money's finally stopped coming out of the bonds. Dow Jones up 88 points. Doesn't mean much. All right, so what do we have? Let's take a look at the intraday action. We'll go to 5-minute candles. This is 10. Let's go to 5-minute candles and look at the session. So we had a gap up on the broad market. We went higher for 30 minutes, came back, we broke the lows and came into the gap, but did not fill the gap. Stalled out, and then that was it. And then we drifted into lunch. Lunchtime drifted a little higher. Over lunch, one pop, and then 2.5 hours of dead flat. And then with 10 minutes left in the stock market, they moved us up. Those are the two white candles. And then you see the 3 candles after the stock market closed, we come right back down. So right where we were for most of the post-lunch period is where we're showing, which means so far that would show a negative opening in the stock market tomorrow. Of course, we've got all the overnight trading to come. NASDAQ side, gap up and push higher. We had a big winners in our futures calls. Today was a nice trading day for futures again, and then rolled over, came back down, curled up, same deal, dead flat. Didn't really get the pop over lunch that the ES did. We were still sitting, if you look at before lunch, we were at 48.55, 48.54, and that's where we were with about 20 minutes left in the day. So basically sat there for 3.5 hours. Painful, and that's because there's no volume and nobody trading. All right, that's it. We've got, in terms of economic data this week, remember, there's existing home sales on Tuesday. That's the one number that we've got. And then on Wednesday, there's a bunch. I'll just cover it now one more time, just in case we don't do a market preview tomorrow night. Wednesday, I'm not going to list the times here, but we've got the MBA mortgage index. We've got the weekly continuing and initial jobless claims numbers. We've got durable orders. We've got the FHFA housing market index. We've got Michigan sentiment. We've got new home sales. We've got crude oil inventories. We've got natty gas inventories. We've got the minutes from the last Fed meeting all coming out. That's all Wednesday because we closed on Thursday. Minor data on Friday. Charts, as usual, brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, I would wait until next week to do so. Although if you sign up now, we will give you some extra time because it's going to be obviously 3 or 4 days here of nothing. And we hope to see you in the lab. Have a great trading week. And if I don't talk to you again, have a great Thanksgiving.